Hi everyone, it's Mark Darling here. I'm a psychologist and neurofeedback practitioner from the Sunshine Coast in Australia. I wanted to talk to you today about a technology called HEG. HEG stands for hemoencephalography. It's a form of neurofeedback. And when we think of neurofeedback, we often think of training brainwave patterns to change, which is what the bulk of neurofeedback's about. But there's another form called HEG, hemoencephalography, and it was developed in the mid to late 1990s by Herschel Tooman, one of our pioneers in the neurofeedback field. And he developed something called near-infrared HEG, or NIR-HEG. It is a technology, as I say, for improving blood flow in the brain and therefore improving metabolism. So it particularly focuses on the prefrontal cortex. Jeff Carman also developed a form of HEG called passive infrared HEG. This isn't an exact description, but basically passive infrared HEG is something to do with temperature in the brain, increasing core temperature. Near infrared HEG is more to do with coloration, so I'll explain that further. But why I want to talk about it is I've Brain Trainer International in the US have developed this, the State Changer, and I've had a few of them arrive here. I'm sitting in my home office today and I thought I might talk about the State Changer. So the State Changer is, as I say, a system of near-infrared HEG increasing blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. Of course, our prefrontal cortex is super important in all our executive function, things like working memory, attention, concentration, things like impulse control, emotional regulation. So traditionally over the years, we've had a form of HEG, which has rewarded the trainer for increasing their blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. But what the State Changer also offers is the capacity to not only increase it, but to decrease blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. And why that might be helpful is because, yes, sometimes we do want to increase blood flow. We need to do certain tasks. We need to concentrate and pay attention. But what about after that? Do we have the capacity to switch off? Switch off from those racing thoughts that keep us awake at night, get into a more relaxed, meditative state. So this is more of an exercise model that allows the brain to both increase and decrease blood flow. So what I thought I'd do is give you a little demonstration, and I'll share my screen and go through that. By the way, I came with a cool t-shirt. So if you're in early, I think it's the first 500 people get a t-shirt as well. Product placement. Anyway, let's share, and I'll demonstrate how this thing works. Oh, before I share the screen, actually, this is what it looks like. And on button on the side, it plugs straight in to a USB port. When it's plugged into the USB port, it's ready to go. You get a download when you first make your purchase for the software, and I found that you just plug it in and it's ready to roll. What you'll see, because it's switched on, is some red flashing lights there. What you won't see, there's another two sensors there and there. They have infrared lights, so you don't see that. So really what's going on there is where these red and infrared lights intersect, it's actually measuring red coloration. And that's how the whole process works. So let's jump into the screen share and I'll show you what the software looks like. Okie dokie, so we're on. So you'll see there you've got your, obviously your State Changer banner and the version number. There's a tab there for checking out statistics after you've run your sessions. And of course, this tells me that my sensor is on and that it's receiving data. That you can choose players. So there's a guest. Obviously, I'm going to be me. There's a choice of 6 games. I'm going to go with the life game and demonstrate that this morning. Why I like the life game. I find it very intuitive. It has graphs that show you when you're going up and when you're going down in terms of blood flow. And it gives you the capacity to both either increase or decrease or both in a session. Some of the other games exclusively are only for training blood flow up and some are just for training blood flow down. So let's go into the life game, and I'll pop my headband on. So you put it right in the middle of the forehead there. One thing to note about this device, it actually got 3 sets of sensors. So the original HEG headband always just had one sensor, and you moved it round from site to site wherever you wanted to use it. But for those of you who know the International 1020 system of electrode placement, this has 3 lots of sensors. They are at F7, F8, and FPZ right in the middle at the front. So what's great about that is that you don't have to take the headband off and move it around. You've got this ability, and you can see it down here, this where it's talking about the sequence left, center, right, but you can adjust it. So next time you might go left, right, center. You might want to start at the center. So it does every combination. You might want to start from the right. And I tend to rotate the order that I use, just so that my client is starting at a different location, because sometimes by the time people get to the 3rd site, they might be tiring and not do so well. So this has been, I think it's a great feature. I'll go left, center, right today. You've got 3 different levels, which I like as well. So skilled is in the middle. Then there's expert up the top end. I'm down the other end. I'm going to be a beginner today. Close focus, that's that sharp, close, concentrating type focus that you want when you want your executive function working in the prefrontal cortex. So that's training blood flow to increase. A relaxed, open, meditative focus represents when you're trying to train the blood flow to decrease. And then we can do closed or open, or we can change the order and do open first and then close. So I'm going to go close first and then open. And I'm going to do it. Let's go right down to, let's say 2 minutes. I won't work through all the sites, but that, as I say, you've got the benefit of rotating through the various sites when you do the training. All right, so you also get to choose an avatar. Apparently this one you can put a photograph in yourself. There's the flying brain, and you've got these various choices. Yeah, so my favorite, the flying brain today. Anyway, let's see how we go. Wish me luck. So that's me concentrating and trying to make the brain fly higher. The trail it's leaving behind is the exact graph of the level of my blood flow in the prefrontal cortex on the left side at the moment, which is F7. Looks like the more I talk, the less I'm concentrating. What you guys may not be able to hear is that there's music in the background, and it changes for each level. There are 4 levels I can go up. And there's also musical notes. It's like a musical scale, and they go up in pitch when the brain's going up, and they go down in pitch when the brain's going down. So I'm not only getting visual feedback, I'm getting audio feedback as well. Well, as you can see, I should be going down now, and I'm not succeeding very well at that. All right. Well, you see, you get some graphs at the end. I am producing something of an increase there. That wasn't so good. I find it's often harder to make it come down after you've increased the blood flow. So that's the yeah, in some ways that's the tricky part, to be able to switch off. Um, anyway, so the way that works then is that you would press continue and go through to the next part of the brain and so on. So these three areas up the top here would get filled in with a different score for left, center, and front. And there's some stats afterwards. Maybe we'll just have one more go in the middle. See how we go if I try to relax a bit. Okay, I'm doing a little bit better there. So increasing blood flow when I'm meant to increase it, decreasing it when I'm meant to decrease it. Obviously, my prefrontal cortex is staying switched on because I'm doing a recording. However, in a normal, relaxed environment, this is quite achievable, and we can learn over time to increase the metabolism in our brains. One of the other things I really like about this whole system as well is that all the electronics is actually in this headband. So let me just stop screen sharing for the moment. Yeah, so all the electronics is inside the headband, and that means there's not an extra requirement for something like an amplifier, which is quite an extra expense. The software comes all included. The headband's affordable, and yeah, just plug it into any computer or laptop. So that's the State Changer. Hopefully over time, increasing blood flow, improving metabolism, improving frontal lobe function. And of course, if the frontal lobe is functioning correctly, then that helps impact other areas of the brain as well. So I find in my practice that I'm using this system in combination with the EEG training. So we do a brain map at the start, look at 20 different sites in the brain, eyes closed, eyes open, and under task, develop a training protocol based on some EEG neurofeedback and some HEG neurofeedback using the State Changer. But it's also a great standalone device, I think, and just something for peak performance type work, and can be used by anyone. Really, it is helpful for just general, I think just general maintenance of the brain. You can increase the time you do it over time, and probably aim for, say, 2 or 3 times a week, and it's like a workout or a gym program for your brain. Anyway, I'll leave that there. Catch you later.